to change the mood there a little bit again. Have all of you here in this room heard of Cindy Sheehan? Cindy Sheehan was the mother of Casey Austin Sheehan. Never heard of her? She was born in 1957. Okay, I'll just read quickly the story here. On April 4, 2004, U.S. Army Specialist Casey Austin Sheehan was killed by small arms fire and a rocket-propelled grenade in Iraq. 2 months later, President Bush met with the parents of the soldiers killed in Iraq and expresses his condolences to Casey's mother, Cindy Sheehan, saying, "Mom, I don't think I can understand your pain." Ms. Sheehan felt outraged at what he considered the president's blasé indifference and pledged that she would do everything she could to protest the war in Iraq. She co-founded Gold Star Families for Peace, an organization of families who lost a son or daughter in Iraq dedicated to ending the war. In August 2005, Sheehan led a vigil near President Bush Ranch in Crawford, Texas. She was accompanied by anti-war activists. She vowed to camp out there until the president met with her to explain why her son was killed and why U.S. troops are still in Iraq even after the administration had acknowledged that the rationale for the invasion, the weapons of mass destruction, was a pretense. When the president refused to meet with her, hundreds of anti-war demonstrators went to Texas to join Sheehan's vigil. As the days went by, more and more supporters showed up, and Cindy Sheehan became an international cause celeb and the focus of media attention. She said to one reporter, "People are dying every day for lies, and one way we can support our troops is to bring them home." Well, before I go to the last part, remember now, President Obama said he would take the troops from Iraq, into Afghanistan. He's about to do this. You know that, right? He's about to do this. Our country is at war. And we sit here celebrating homecoming, all of this stuff, and we are at war, young men are dying, and the protests are going to start again. Again, you just look for it. It's happening, it's going to happen. They're going against Afghanistan. They're going to start soon. You're going to hear it. Cindy Sheehan will be one of them. Well, Cindy Sheehan's daughter is Carly Sheehan. And soon after her brother died, she wrote this poem for him. I'm not a good poet, I read it as best as I can. Have you ever heard the sound of a mother screaming for her son? The torrential rains of a mother's weeping will never be done. They call him a hero. You should be glad he's won. But have you ever heard the sound of a mother screaming for her son? Have you ever heard the sound of a father holding back his cries? He must be brave because his boy died for another man's lives. The only grief he allows himself are long, deep sighs. Have you ever heard of a father, the sound of a father holding back his cries? Have you ever heard the sound of taps played as your brother's grave? They say he died so that the flag will continue to wave. But I believe he died because they had oil to save. Have you ever heard the sound of taps played at your brother's grave? Have you ever heard the sound of a nation being rocked to sleep? The leaders want to keep you down so the pain won't be so deep. But if we the people let them continue, another mother will weep. Have you ever heard the sound of a nation being rocked to sleep? As I said, Obama told us that he was going to go in Afghanistan. He is going to go to Afghanistan. And for the next If he's in there another 7, 8 years, we will be at war. You know that, right? You know that. You'll be in graduate school, I don't know where you'll be. But we are going to be at war for the next several years. Don't forget, we are at war. I think we don't hear about it, but Cindy Strahan continues this way. Wow. The songs my daughter wrote about in her inspired poem, so poignantly and amazingly a few weeks after her brother, my son, was killed in Iraq, have been repeated over and over again too many times since the criminal invasion occupation of Iraq began in March of 2003. These songs are imprinted in my DNA. I will never, ever forget the night of April 4th, 2004, when I found out that Casey had been killed. After what seemed an eternity, I began to wonder who or what was making those terrible screaming noises. Then I realized it was me. It couldn't have been Casey's father because he was paralyzed in stunned silence, holding the pair of pants he had been folding when the deliverers of death arrived. I will also never forget when we buried my sweet boy, my oldest son. I will never forget the playing of taps or the violin and the inside thoughtless body of the 21 gun salute. So Cindy concludes, I'll just skip a few lines here, and she says, in her little essay here, I want the withdrawal, and this is Iraq at that time, to begin tomorrow, because I don't even want to try to imagine the sounds Cindy heard before Casey heard before he died. I don't want to imagine the sound of the bullet strong enough to pierce the Kevlar coating on his helmet, to rip through his skull. I don't want to know the sounds of a mother in Iraq wailing for her entire family. These sounds need to stop immediately. It is time to bring our troops home. And lastly, she says, the sound I do want to hear is the sound of a nation waking up. I will rejoice to hear the sounds of the collective mea culpa and the beating of breasts. I want to hear the deafening clicks as the steady stream of news entertainment is turned off. Propaganda that is turning us into zombies who are too numb to the truth. I want to hear the sound of our children getting off the planes and boats from Iraq to the joyful squealing of their children and the deep sighs of relief from their spouses, parents, and their loved ones. I want to hear our citizenry lifting up their voices and singing, we will never let this happen again. So, my only message here is that we are still at war. Do not forget it. You see all the things happening with the healthcare and all of that. Why are we spending so much money? You know, do you realize how much money we are spending on military, still spending, and the nation has not woken up, all right? The nation has not woken up. We are living in a cocoon. We pretend there is no war. There is war going on, right? And I'll end that. And before I end, the 10 banners are still up. All right, the 10 banners are still up. For those of you who were here last week, you know what I'm saying. This weekend is homecoming. I am going to pledge myself that by the end of this year, those banners will be different. Right? They will be different. Whoever wants to join me in the effort to change them, to modify them, are welcome. That is not right what's up there for 7 years. Those of you who were here last week know what I'm saying. Those of you who aren't, figure it out. Thank you.